So uh, I'll quickly go through this. What is this uh, body of knowledge, or what you are expected to know? So it's a recommended practice. That's first thing. It's not mandatory, and it's intended to complement the inspection codes for pressure vessel, as I said before. It covers valves also, heat exchangers, rotating equipment, so anything that leaks. So they might ask you during the exam about the scope of it. So what is not included, we'll tell you. What is included here, we'll tell you. So practically anything electrical or structure which does not leak. And the failure means anything that leaks. So so that means a failure by definition, by API, and most of the other API codes. So as I said, the inspection codes 510, 570, 653 calculate the time when half of the corrosion allowance still remains by the time the next inspection interval is due, which is called half-life rule. The inspection interval determined through API 510 is used as a comparison. And although it's a recommended practice, but all these codes, they accepted API verdict. And it can be increased to, it can be used RBI to increase the inspection interval beyond the half-life rule. But the maximum cap is 10 years. So these are all potential questions. And 580 defines the minimum requirement for an inspection program. So an inspection program is actually a process that starts with identification. So you select the equipment, which are the high-risk drivers equipment. You prepare an inspection plan for each equipment, and then that may eventually end up in an inspection report and result in repair, alteration, replacement, or any process change recommendation. So to prepare an inspection plan, first you need to identify the high-risk equipment and risk drivers. Should identify the dominant damage mechanism that have a potential to cause failure, and accordingly select those inspection and examination methods. So this is also one of the advantage of RBI, is that if previously you have done a lot of NDE examination on a lot of areas that really didn't have changed or didn't give you much information, so you can reduce or eliminate those areas and concentrate on those areas which give you more information about the corrosion trend and etc. Or there are some NDE examination methods that cannot detect a particular damage mechanism, and you're using that, so practically you're not getting any information. So you have to change the coverage and the type of NDE examination there. Okay, and normally corrosion engineers and material engineers, they are very handy to recommend what is the dominant damage mechanism for that particular scenario. So what all you want to do is actually identify the most dominant damage, identify a NDE method to actually can detect that damage, and also make sure that you're looking for those damages with the proper NDE method at the right area. Okay, you know, like by experience on the bends, change of profile and all that, high stress concentration areas, you can look at this. So practically what RBI does, that it directs the inspection efforts and activities to those areas that, from those areas that you have negligible deterioration, and or to those areas that you have high risk of failure. So the inspection effort can be rightfully used. The result of RBI normally is reduced cost in inspection, because you would eliminate those inspections that were not really having much effect on failure of material, or to monitor it. And but that is not the aim of API. They want to reduce the risk actually. And the risk is not absolute, because you can never eliminate the risk. You're trying to decrease the risk to an acceptable level. And in our every day-to-day life, we also try to do that, because you know, whatever plan, how secure and how the best of plan, there is always a risk involved on anything activity we do. And normally inspection cost and risk is reduced by implementing the RBI approach. So it practically means a risk prioritized inspection. And it's a good tool for management of change program. And because if there are any changes, the RBI could determine that, okay, and now the trend has changed because you changed the process or something happened. And so we need to realign our inspection activities. So it includes considering the risk drivers. So as I said, damage mechanism, extent, type, size, location, selecting the best, most suitable inspection methods and examination methods and techniques, determining the inspection examination coverage and frequency, and then determining the inspection interval and eventually do risk mitigating measures. So you have two main topics, probability of failure and consequence of failure on this, and their multiplication will become the risk